hmm You know, there's fraud, waste, and abuse. I know that there isn't an employee of any state that believes any of this. Yes. hmm But a violation of any law, rule, or regulation. Yes. Now, it does say former employees and applicants. Yes. Federal employees. Yeah. They can report on any of the following types of wrongdoing. Yeah. Could you give me all the former employees of every state and the United States for the last 40 years? You know, a lot of those in the family, they don't like to document. No. And the thought was, well, if I can buy electricity for, let's say, 5 cents a gallon, yes, and I can sell it for 50 cents a gallon, yes, and all it requires is an additional converter, yes, and you not knowing it, I can make 10 times the amount of money, yes. Now, a violation of any law, rule, or regulation, and then there's what's known as gross mismanagement. Now, it's not really a gross waste of funds. No. Mm-mm. I know that when we look through every law of every state and the federal government, I just wanted to know any subsidization, yes, of the purchase of any electricity that happens to be green, that is direct current, that requires it to be converted to alternating current to be able to be in the electric grid. Yeah. Then there's this abuse of authority. Pooh. For those that are running for office or happen to be in office, yes, it is not an abuse of your authority to refuse to report waste, fraud, or abuse. You are not abusing your authority when you don't do your responsibility. I just wanted you to know that today, okay? You're not abusing your authority. Now, I would have thought a long, long time ago, yes, that somebody would have reported child abuse because of the abuse of authority of issuing a dissolution of marriage where you didn't have the authority of the United Nations. In fact, you know that big Rockefeller building that I thought I did own? Yeah, the one across the street from the Ford building there in New York City. Could you get me their actual electricity costs and whether or not they're using any solar panels? Yes. See, my thought was that the Rothschilds, yes, the Rockefellers, quite possibly the Bloombergs, and the other banking cartels, if I found out that you did invest in any green energy and you just decided to put a little wire in the windmill or another wire in the solar panel, it would be, well, it's not really an abuse of your authority as a global banking cartel, but could you get me those large alternative investments of the individuals that control most of the money supply of the world? Somehow I think that the Rockefeller building where the United Nations is, yes, they probably do use quite a bit of electricity. And going green that you are. Okay. Are you buying any direct current electricity from any windmill, steam generator? Well, if it's a generator, it should be alternating current. Yes, yes, yes. Large. Well, I thought I owned that building. See, I'm going to need some additional volunteers. What I was thinking of doing, yes, was buying a large number of buildings as a individual owner. Yes, Paul C. Budnick. And leasing it to my charities. Oh, to help support those women that want to volunteer in my office. Yes. Now I know if I lease to myself and I receive the profitability of the actual lease because I own the building, that in no way violates any law, rule, or regulation. Now it's kind of like a guaranteed income for me supporting a charity that happens to lease my building that pays me the actual donations that I gave to the charity.